Chapter 11 What Holy Place? Never heard of it. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Everyone couldn't believe their ears. Mu Yan didn't want such a generous reward. Doesn't he know that these are good things? All the young men in the Mu family were anxious. At this moment, they wished they could take these rewards instead of Mu Yan. If they had these good things, their strength would definitely improve quickly. Such a good treasure, Mu Yan, you don't even look at it. The elders of the family were also very surprised. They didn't know why Mu Yan refused these treasures. Logically, shouldn't he be ecstatic? Why didn't he feel anything? He even looked disdainful. The elder looked puzzled. These treasures were attractive to him, not to mention Mu Yan as a junior. Or was Mu Yan too greedy and unwilling to get only this little reward, so he raised the price and asked for a high price? Thinking that this was indeed possible, the elder's eyes became a little gloomy. However, due to Mu Yan's status as a champion and the future of the Mu family, he still said, Mu Yan, do you think there are not enough treasures? These are already part of the family's heritage, don't be too greedy, just stop when you are ahead. This elder can reward you with an extra 1,000 spirit stones. That the elder first gave him a warning in a subtle way, and then gave him a little more reward. Everyone gasped in shock after hearing this, and then showed envious eyes. 1,000 spirit stones, this is not a small amount. When Mu Yan was a genius of the Mu family, he only had 500 spirit stones to control in a year. Now he gets a reward of 1,000 spirit stones at a time. Who would be so excited that he would go crazy? Even Mu Lei looked at Mu Yan expectantly, wanting to remind Mu Yan that he could accept it. After all, it is not easy to make the elder bleed once, and there may not be such an opportunity in the future. Unexpectedly, in Mu Yan's eyes, the so-called increase is just to make this championship title and reward even more ridiculous. I am a disciple of Kunlun Holy Land, so don't embarrass yourself in front of me with these rubbish. Champion? Reward? I, Mu Yan, don't want it. Mu Yan laughed loudly, not giving the elder any face at all. Seeing him refuse again, everyone was incredulous. Are these rewards bad? What kind of treasures can catch his eye? The elders were even more angry and felt that this kid was just playing tricks on them. Then what do you want to be satisfied? The elder was so angry that his beard trembled. Mu Yan laughed loudly, and then said, I came back today, just to make my thoughts clear, and now I have achieved my goal. That what should be done has been done, and he has completely overturned everyone's view of him. Looking at the expressions on everyone's faces, he can feel that these people are afraid of him, puzzled, confused, envious, jealous, and even flattering. That's enough. Yener, where are you going? Mu Lei called him anxiously. Mu Yan said, Dad, I have already joined the Kunlun Holy Land, so I will naturally return to the Kunlun Holy Land to continue my cultivation. Kunlun Holy Land? Mu Lei frowned in confusion. Why hasn't he heard of this force? When the others heard that he had joined a Holy Land, they all made surprised sounds. The Holy Land represents the top power of the wild fairy world. Everyone who can be called a Holy Land must have the inheritance of the Immortal Emperor. If you want to join the Holy Land, you must be a genius among 10,000, otherwise you don't have the qualifications at all. Since he has joined the Holy Land, can the Mu family also benefit from it and become prosperous in the future? Thinking of this, the elders who were cold and impatient with Mu Yan just now immediately changed their faces and became flattering and fawning. The young men of the Mu family also admired him. Although Mu Kuan is strong, it is absolutely impossible for him to join the Holy Land. Mu Yan was different. He joined the Holy Land and was destined to be the most dazzling person in the Mu family. He was even famous in the Zhangtian realm, the Dongxing continent, and the entire wild immortal world. Holy Land. Yener, you said you joined the Holy Land. Where is this Kunlun Holy Land? Although Mu Lei had never heard of the Kunlun Holy Land, he felt that he was too ignorant and it was normal that he had not seen the world. Since it can be called a Holy Land, how can it be bad? The elders and others were also full of enthusiasm and smiles, which was completely different from the seriousness and indifference just now. Mu Yan raised his head proudly. Kunlun Holy Land is in our Zhangtian realm. Although it is still just developing, it will soon be famous in the wild immortal world. Hearing him say this, Mu Lei always felt that something was wrong. Where did the Holy Land come from in the Zhangtian realm? Just developed? In other words, it has not developed yet. After learning the truth, Mu Lei's expression was very subtle. He always wondered if his silly son was fooled by some charlatan. Those holy places were all opened up by the immortal emperors. They have been famous in the wild immortal world since their creation. Which one started from a small sect? Calling it a holy place is probably deceiving oneself, right? The elders and others also figured it out. After all this time, this so-called Kunlun Holy Land is a newly established sect, right? I thought it was some kind of transcendent force that was high above. How ridiculous. No wonder I haven't heard of a Kunlun Holy Land. It turns out that it hasn't developed yet. That the elder laughed sarcastically, thinking that he had just tried to please Mu Yen. He felt very ironic. This chapter has not ended. Please click on the next page to continue reading. The second elder also asked sarcastically, Mu Yen, your Kunlun Holy Land is so powerful, it must be very large, right? How many disciples do you have now? Mu Yen naturally knew what they wanted to say, but he didn't care. The Kunlun Holy Land has the master, which is the greatest confidence. At present, I am the only disciple of this holy land, and I am also the eldest disciple of the Kunlun Holy Land. Mu Yen said proudly. As a result, the elders couldn't help but burst into laughter, laughing so hard that tears were about to come out. Ha ha ha, just you. Can this be called a holy land? No way. A holy land with one disciple. The scale is really terrifying, ha ha ha. No, I'm going to laugh to death. What a powerful holy land, too awesome. These Mu family leaders laughed non-stop, and even the entire Mu family laughed, and everyone looked at Mu Yen as if they were watching a joke. They thought Kunlun Holy Land was so powerful, but it turned out to be a small sect with only one disciple. That's it? Yener, how does your Kunlun Holy Land compare to Jinyu Sect? Mu Lei asked cautiously. Jinyu Sect is also a very powerful sect in Zhangtian realm. Its leader has reached the level of refining void stage, and there are tens of thousands of disciples. The reason why he asked this is because Mu Yan's fiancé is currently a core disciple of Jinyu Sect. If Kunlun Holy Land is far inferior to Jinyu Sect, then the gap between Mu Yen and his fiancé may become larger and larger. In a few years, the two will be people from two different worlds. Chapter 12, Breaking Off the Engagement. Reversal. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hearing this, Mu Yen sneered, what is the Jinyu Sect? In front of my Kunlun Holy Land, it is like an ant. That he dared to say this because he believed in the amazing power of the Master. The Master could turn his natural fire spirit root into a flame spirit holy body, and he could also transform into a huge palace complex with a wave of his hand. Just from this one move, he knew that the Master was really unfathomable. In addition, the technique that the Master casually threw out was the Emperor level, which meant that the Emperor level technique was nothing in front of the Master, let alone the Jinyu Sect. Even those holy places that have existed for millions or tens of millions of years, can they be so generous? Comparing a small Jinyu Sect with the Kunlun Holy Land? It is simply an insult to the Kunlun Holy Land. Ha ha ha, I hope what you said is true. According to the news I received, your fiancée Guing Luo is already a core disciple of the Jinyu Sect, and she is in a high position and has great power. Moreover, the descendant of a high-ranking member of the Jinyu Sect has taken a fancy to your fiancé Guing Luo. The Gu family also intends to match Guing Luo with the son of a high-ranking member of the Jinyu Sect. Your reputation as a waste has made the Gu family give up on you completely. According to the news I got from the Gu family, Guing Luo will bring the son of the high-ranking member to the Mu family to cancel the engagement in the next few days. The smile of the elder contained undisguised mockery and sarcasm. He knew that Mu Yen had a grudge against the Mu family and could no longer treat them as his own. Why not be a spectator and see how Mu Yen competes with the Jinyu Sect? Although Mu Yen praised Kunlun Holy Land to the skies, if he really met the Jinyu Sect, he did not believe that Kunlun Holy Land was qualified to be compared with the Jinyu Sect. Sure enough, after hearing this news, Mu Yan's face changed. He and his fiancée Gu Yingluo have always had a good relationship, but after he became a waste, although Gu Yingluo didn't say anything, the Gu family was already dissatisfied. Last year, Gu Yingluo successfully entered the Jinyu Sect and became a core disciple. The Gu family looked down on Mu Yan, who was a waste, even more. But he didn't expect that Gu Yingluo would come to cancel the engagement. Impossible. Yingluo and I will never separate. Mu Yan said angrily. The elder laughed. Then you have to wait and see, the engagement will be cancelled in a few days. Looking at his gloating old face, Mu Yan clenched his fists in anger. If there is anyone who can affect his mood, Dad is one, and the other is Yingluo, // okay. Then I'll wait. I don't believe Yingluo really wants to break off the engagement with me. // Mu Yan said loudly. Thousands of miles away from the Mu family, a very luxurious flying workshop ship is heading towards the Mu family. The 4 blue-scaled eagles with wide wings were responsible for pulling the flying workshop ship, and their strength had reached the peak of the foundation building period. Wherever the flying workshop ship went, it attracted the attention of many people. There were also many people with ill intentions who had ideas about this flying workshop ship, but when they saw the 4 blue-scaled eagles at the peak of the foundation building period, they hesitated. After seeing the special mark of the Jinyu Sect on the side of the flying workshop ship, all those who wanted to rob it retreated. In the Zhangtian realm, the Jinyu Sect is powerful, and the strength of the sect master has reached the refining period. Moreover, the Jinyu Sect has existed for tens of thousands of years and has a strong foundation. It is said that in the forbidden area behind the Jinyu Sect, there are several ancestors with even more terrifying strength sleeping. Judging from the luxury of the flying workshop ship, there must be people with high positions and power in the sect. Anyone who dares to provoke such a person means that he is not far from death. There is a man and a woman in the flying workshop ship. The man was handsome and tall, while the woman was born with beautiful skin and bones, emitting a faint halo like a fairy descending from the earth. Yingluo, this third-grade red blood pill can enhance blood and qi, and is very effective in polishing the body. I spent a lot of money to get it from the warehouse. The man took out a pill and gave it to Gu Yingluo as if offering it to him. However, Gu Yingluo's reaction was extremely cold. She didn't even bother to look at him more and said, Jin Hao, don't give me such a valuable thing. The man's name was Jin Hao, and he was the son of the leader of the Jinyu Sect. Gu Yingluo hated Jin Hao very much, but she couldn't show it too obviously. After becoming a core disciple of the Jinyu Sect, she thought she was going to rise straight up, but she didn't expect that this would become the beginning of her nightmare. Jin Hao fell in love with her and often harassed her using his status privileges. Although she had obviously refused, Jin Hao not only did not give up, but instead intensified it and claimed to the outside world that she was already his woman. Gu Yingluo was extremely disgusted with this and warned him many times not to talk nonsense, but it was useless. In the Jinyu Sect, fellow disciples had already tacitly accepted that she was Jin Hao's woman. What made Gu Yingluo even more powerless was that after the family knew about this, they not only did not understand her, but asked her to please Jin Hao. They even put pressure on her to come to the Mu family to break off the engagement. Even if Gu Yingluo was extremely reluctant, under the dual pressure of the Jinyu Sect and the family, she could only take one step at a time. I don't know how Brother Mu Yan is doing now. Is he doing well? Thinking of the former genius becoming a well-known waste, she knew that the arrogant young man must have been hit hard. Gu Yingluo felt sorry for him, but she couldn't do anything. When Jin Hao saw Gu Yingluo's cold attitude, he knew that this woman must be thinking about that waste again. Yingluo, you are a core disciple with unlimited prospects. You may even become a high-ranking member of the sect in the future. Some people are not destined to be with you. This chapter is not over yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading. But I am different. I can always be with you and even give you a higher status. It is not unreasonable for your family elders to ask you to cancel the engagement. Don't think too much. I will help you clear all obstacles. Jin Hao said gently and confidently. He had also heard about Gu Yingluo's useless object, not to mention that Mu Yan has become a waste. Even if Mu Yan can still practice, Jin Hao will not take him seriously. How can a young man from a small family be compared with a noble young man like him? Gu Yingluo did not respond. she must find a chance to make it clear to Mu Yan that she would not cancel the engagement with him even if she left the Jinyu Sect. Jin Hao did not care much about asking for trouble. He was used to the other party's indifference, it's just that he wanted to kill Mu Yan even more. As long as we kill that kid, what else can Gu Yingluo do? Won't she just become my slave? Perhaps it would be easier to just kill the entire Mu family, that he thought to himself. The aura of the second level of the Jindan period in Jin Hao's body continued to escape, making Gu Yingluo next to him extremely afraid. This Jin Hao was only 20 years old, but he had already reached the second level of the Jindan period, although it was due to the various natural treasures of the Jinyu Sect. But his own talent is also very good. Gu Yingluo became even more worried. Brother Mu Yan is no match for Jin Hao at all. What should I do to save him? Gu Yingluo was in a state of confusion. She had never been so helpless as she was now. After a long journey, they finally arrived at the Mu family. Four powerful blue-scaled eagles pulled a huge luxury flying ship and appeared over the Mu family, arousing the vigilance of everyone in the Mu family. The moment they arrived, Mu Yan, who was practicing in the Mu family, felt a familiar breath. That was the breath of his fiancée. Are you finally here? Yingluo, what is your own choice? Mu Yan stood up and left the room and walked out. Chapter 13, Will You Bear the Wrath of the Jinyu Sect? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Outside, Jin Hao and Gu Yingluo had appeared, attracting the attention of many people in the Mu family. They recognized at a glance that the girl was Mu Yan's fiancée Gu Yingluo. Everyone looked at each other in shock, thinking that what the great elder said before was indeed true. Has Gu Yingluo already brought someone to break off the engagement? So, could the man next to her be the son of a senior member of the Jinyu Sect? There's something good to watch now. Jin Hao glanced around arrogantly, expressing his disgust for everything about the Mu family. Compared with the behemoth of the Jinyu Sect, the Mu family is really too small. The main halls of the Jinyu Sect are more luxurious than the Mu family. He pretended to cover his nose and said softly, Let's settle today's matter quickly. It smells like poverty here, and I don't like it very much. The young master of the Jinyu Sect has arrived. Why doesn't the head of the Mu family come to greet him? An old man beside the two people shouted coldly. Afterwards, the great elder and others hurriedly ran out and came to Jin Hao with flattering smiles. Welcome, young master of the Jinyu Sect. Your arrival is an honor for our Mu family. I am from the Mu family. The great elder nodded and bowed, expressing the word groveling vividly. However, before he could finish speaking, Jin Hao interrupted him with a wave of disgust and told him to shut up. Okay, don't talk nonsense to me. The purpose of my coming today is very simple, that is, to settle the engagement between Yingluo and your Mu family. I hope you will recognize it, Jin Hao said coldly. Gu Yingluo's face turned pale. She anxiously looked for Mu Yan in the crowd, but found nothing. The ugly old face of the elder was filled with a passionate smile. That's natural. That's natural. It's a blessing for this girl Yingluo to be favored by you. How can our Mu family have the right to interfere in this matter? Break off the engagement, we have no problem with that. Great elder. Where is brother Mu Yan? Where is he? I want to find him. Gu Yingluo immediately shouted in panic that she wanted to express her feelings to Mu Yan in person. Mu Yan. Upon hearing this name, the great elder was very unhappy. At this time, a fiery aura suddenly appeared in front of several people. It was Mu Yan whose expression seemed calm, but in fact there was a hint of pain hidden in his eyes. Yingluo, you want to break off the engagement? Is this what you mean? Mu Yan asked coldly. Gu Yingluo finally smiled when she saw her sweetheart appear. She quickly explained, Brother Mu Yan, this is not what Yingluo meant. Yingluo has never agreed to break off the engagement. As soon as these words came out, Mu Yan's hanging heart could finally be relieved. Since Yingluo's heart has never changed, then he can fight the whole world for her. But Jin Hao was angry. He stared at Gu Yingluo fiercely and was extremely dissatisfied with her words, especially when he saw her bright smile. His hatred for her and his murderous intention towards Mu Yan became even stronger. He spent countless resources and precious elixirs to please her. but in the end he couldn't even get her to smile. She never gave him a good look along the way. She was elated just after meeting this boy from the Mu family. This stinky woman. After you get her in your hands, you must ravage her severely, make her a crotch bitch, and make her stick out her tongue and roll her eyes every day. This is what happens if Jin Hao angers him. However, we still have to deal with the Mu family first. Jin Hao looked at the young man in front of him with a superior attitude. He did not feel that this young man had strong fluctuations in his cultivation. You can crush it to death like an ant with just one hand. Are you that Mu Yen? I advise you to be wise and don't cause trouble. The anger of our Jinyu sect is not something you can bear. Jin Hao warned coldly. Hearing this, Mu Yen not only was not afraid, but showed an interested smile and asked, really? Is the anger of your Jinyu sect terrible? That there was murderous intent in Jin Hao's eyes. You can give it a try. As he spoke, an extremely powerful aura erupted from his body, and he had actually reached the second level of the Golden Core stage. Such terrifying strength made everyone in the Mu family feel tremendous pressure. Is this the foundation of the Jinyu sect? Yenner, Mu Lei couldn't help but become worried. He knew that his son was also a master of the Golden Core stage, but the state he showed should only be at the time when he first entered the Golden Core stage, how to fight against Jin Hao, who is at the second level of the Golden Core stage. Moreover, Jin Hao was born in the wealthy Jinyu sect, and he must have many advanced techniques and secret techniques. Compared with him, Mu Yen is already at a disadvantage. The first elder and the others were extremely nervous. They didn't care about Mu Yan's life or death, but if Mu Yen made Jin Hao angry, would the Mu family also be implicated? Jin Hao. I don't agree to break off the engagement at all, and I don't want to be with you. Can't you let me go? Seeing that Jin Hao was really murderous, Gu Yingluo hurriedly persuaded him. Jin Hao turned his head to look at her disdainfully and said mockingly, Gu Yingluo, are you brainless? Do you think you are qualified to make the decision? Who among you in the Gu family doesn't want to use you to gain access to our Jinyu sect? Break off the engagement. Does the Gu family agree? Moreover, by doing this, you are going against me and the entire Jinyu sect. Can you afford this responsibility? Jin Hao's words made Gu Yingluo turn pale with fright. It's not that she hasn't thought about it, but having him say it so bluntly made her even more desperate and powerless. Is it that there is no way to change the divorce? The Gu family and the Jinyu sect put pressure on him together, and he simply cannot afford it. The Gu family will also be visited by the Jinyu sect. Moreover, brother Mu Yen will also be implicated, right? She looked at Mu Yen blankly. There was no way out at this time. Seeing that no one spoke, Jin Hao proudly showed a cold smile. In the face of absolute strength, the so-called backbone and true love are all jokes. He stared at Mu Yen arrogantly, waiting for the moment when Mu Yen gave in, but what he didn't expect was that Mu Yen not only did not give in or fear, but his eyes became even sharper. I don't know why, he was afraid of this sharp look. Jin Hao took a half step back involuntarily. When he realized that he was scared by a waste, he became even more angry. I've given you enough face. Now you're looking for death yourself. You can't blame me. Jin Hao laughed wildly and spread his hands. The aura on his body swept out in all directions like a storm. The terrifying power frightened many young people in the Mu family so much that their legs went weak and they almost knelt on the ground. The second level of the Jindan stage is so terrifying. Only Mu Yen could stand still in the face of this storm, as calm as a towering mountain. Chapter 14, The Emperor's Divine Flame, kills instantly with one move. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As long as you can survive under my hands, I can spare your life. Jin Hao, who was full of violent aura, laughed hideously. Faced with his arrogance and murderous intent, Mu Yen did not respond at all, but his eyes became colder and colder, as if he was about to condense into an invisible knife. For him, Jin Hao must die. Second level of the Golden Core stage. He has reached such a high level at such a young age. It is easy to kill this kid Mu Yen. That the first and second elders were very expectant and excited. Anyway, Mu Yen no longer has a sense of belonging to the family. Instead of keeping him as an enemy, it is better to get rid of him with the help of Jin Hao. No matter how strong Mu Yan is, can he be stronger than Jin Hao? What's funny is that this kid still thinks that his Kunlun Holy Land can compete with the Jinyu Sect. It's really stupid, hahaha, that the second elder also did not hide his contempt for the Kunlun Holy Land. Seeing his son in great danger, Mu Lei was also anxious. He was ready to take action to protect his son, but before he could make a move, he was stopped by Zhang Laosi, who was silent beside him. Mu Lei looked at Zhang Laosi in confusion. He knew that this person came with Mu Yan and should be a figure like Mu Yan's sect elder, but Zhang Laosi never spoke, so he didn't communicate with Zhang Laosi. What does this person mean by stopping him now? Just wait and see. Zhang Laosi said calmly. Mu Lei didn't understand. Yenna was already in danger, why did this person stop him? However, he didn't look like he was joking. Did this person intend to take action himself? Thinking of this, Mu Lei had to suppress his uneasiness and watch it first. Brother Mu Yan, be careful. He is practicing the strongest technique of the Jinyu Sect, Purple Yang Treasure Technique, which belongs to the king-level technique and is very domineering. Guing Luo also hurriedly gave a reminder. Everyone in the Mu family was also stunned. Purple Yang Treasure Secret. King-level skills. You know, the highest level skills of the Mu family are only Xian level skills. Such a high-level skill, its power needs to be said more. The cultivators of the same realm, whoever practices a more advanced skill will be stronger. People who practice king-level skills are naturally stronger than those who practice Xian-level skills. The young generation of the Mu family who were watching from a distance did not even dare to breathe at this time, and only dared to watch the battle quietly. Among them, Mu Tingting and Mu Kun had the most complicated expressions. They were the two most recognized geniuses of the Mu family, but in front of Jin Hao, they didn't even have a chance to fight, right? Seeing Jin Hao, they knew what it meant to be someone better than you, and there is always someone better than you. Especially Mu Kun, he felt that all his pride was worthless in front of Jin Hao. But he soon showed a twisted smile, even a little hideous and terrifying. Let's fight, kill Mu Yan. It's better to kill him. Mu Kun's heart was full of expectations. He wanted Mu Yan to die quickly, and it would be best if Jin Hao killed him personally. He couldn't wait to see the bloody scene. When everyone had different thoughts, Jin Hao had already made a move. He used all his strength to punch Mu Yan continuously, and the space in front of him was roaring, as if even the space was about to collapse. The majestic spiritual power turned into a fierce fist force, and it blasted towards Mu Yan wave after wave. Such a terrifying power, even many Jindan stage strongmen of the Mu family were shocked when they saw it. Is this the combat power that can be achieved by the second level of the Jindan stage? It's incredible. After seeing this set of boxing, Guing Luo screamed, it's the Haoyang fist. King-level boxing. Although others didn't know what the Haoyang fist was, since it was a king-level boxing, it must be very powerful. Once the Haoyang fist was performed, Jin Hao's fist seemed to transform into two golden suns. Not only did it emit an astonishing high temperature, but it also had a terrifying destructive force. Come on, facing Jin Hao's fists, Mu Yan did not avoid it at all, and a golden flame surged out of his body. This flame began to flow rapidly, like a liquid, quickly covering his whole body, forming a set of golden flame armor. This is the flame born after practicing the flame god technique, named the Emperor God Flame, which is one of the most explosive and terrifying flames in the world. A wisp of the Emperor God Flame can burn mountains and boil seas and burn everything. Although with his current strength, the Emperor God Flame he cultivated is not so destructive, but facing a mere Jin Hao, it is more than enough. Boom! Jin Hao's fists carried a vast force and slammed into Mu Yan's body, making a deafening roar. Everyone opened their eyes wide, wanting to see if Mu Yan was beaten into slag. But when they saw the situation clearly, they all widened their eyes in shock, suspecting that they were having an illusion, because Mu Yan was standing there safely, without any injuries on his body. His body was covered with a layer of golden armor, and it also emitted an extremely terrifying high temperature. Even the space around him seemed distorted. Why is this happening? that the first elder and the second elder couldn't believe their eyes. Jinyu was so powerful, why couldn't he even break Mu Yan's defense? Where did the golden armor covering his body come from? Mu Kun, Mu Tingting and others were also extremely shocked. They had already felt the unparalleled destructive power in Jinyu. If the punch just now landed on him, even if he had 10 lives, it wouldn't be enough. They thought it would be extremely easy to kill Mu Yan with this punch, but now there is no damage at all. Jinyu's face was also filled with astonishment and disbelief. He knew very well how powerful the Haoyang fist was. If you punch out with one punch, it won't be a big problem to kill a strong person of the same level. But why does it have no effect on Mu Yan? Could it be said that this boy is stronger than himself? No. Absolutely impossible. I am the proud son of heaven and the most powerful young generation of the Jinyu Sect. How can this useless person be compared with me? Jinyu couldn't accept this result. He felt that something must have gone wrong. Frustrated, he threw another more powerful punch, and all the spiritual energy in his body poured out, turning into 2 dazzling suns, which hit Mu Yan with enough power to destroy everything. Mu Yan, who looked cold, only uttered a few words, "It's a small trick." Then, he raised his right hand as if nothing had happened, and a golden hot spiritual power spurted out from the center of his right hand, condensed into a 10-foot-long giant palm, and blasted out fiercely. The 10-foot-long golden palm struck the 2 blazing little suns mercilessly, and the collision of the 2 forces immediately caused a shocking explosion. A deafening roar resounded across the sky, and a golden ripple of energy spread out in all directions. If the upper management of the Mu family had not resisted, many young people of the Mu family and various buildings would have suffered. Even so, Mu Kun and others were so frightened that their faces turned pale, and in the end they fell to the ground. Jinyu looked ferocious at this time, and he only felt that all his attacks were completely destroyed by a more powerful force. Unprecedented panic and despair occupied his heart. He opened his mouth wide, but no sound came out. The flames that can burn everything have swallowed him up, along with the spiritual power in his body. Under this irresistible force, Jinyu's broken body flew out like a rag sack, smashing several walls before barely stopping, and he was also buried under the ruins, not knowing whether to live or die. This scene made the world go silent, and everyone's eyes widened, with endless fear and terror filling their pupils. Chapter 15 Zhang Laosi takes action. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Everyone suddenly turned their heads to look at the place where Jinyu collapsed, but there was no movement or breath from him, and no one knew what had happened to him. "Young master," that the accompanying old man screamed miserably, and his body flashed and appeared next to the ruins, pulling out Jinyu's body. Everyone's pupils suddenly shrank, because Jinyu, who was high and arrogant just now, was now burned to charcoal and had no breath at all. If they didn't know that this was Jinyu himself, everyone would have thought it was the charred corpse of a beggar. Dead? Jinyu is dead, that the first elder, the second elder and other family leaders looked at Mu Yan, who looked calm, in horror, compared with Jinyu, who had become a conversation. Mu Yan, who was clean and spotless, had an indescribable demeanor. Everyone couldn't believe that the former waste material actually defeated the first genius of Jinyu Sect with one move, and killed him with force. This strength is really terrifying. When did his strength grow to this level? Mu Lei couldn't believe his eyes at this time. He thought his son was just entering the Jindan stage, and his strength was far inferior to Jinyu, who was in the second stage of the Jindan stage, but the strength shown by Mu Yan had convinced him. What followed was great pride and satisfaction. His son was not only not a waste, but also a super genius who could beat the Jinyu Sect. Who dares to say that his son is not good now? Look at Jinyu, this is the end. The muscles on Mu Kun's face were twitching. He didn't expect this ending at all. Jinyu was so strong, why did he lose to Mu Yan? And he was killed by Mu Yan. Damn, is the genius of Jinyu Sect so useless? He couldn't accept this result. What he wanted to see was Mu Yan being killed by Jinyu, so that he could relieve his resentment towards Mu Yan. Mu Kun, who was unwilling, was also very desperate. Even Jinyu was not Mu Yan's opponent, so who else could punish Mu Yen? Mu Tingting looked at Mu Yen stupidly, with unprecedented sourness and regret in her heart. Is my choice wrong? If I can always stick to my own ideas, can I still be the little girl beside brother Mu Yen? Thinking of this, Mu Tingting suddenly wanted to cry, she really regretted it. Mu Yen stood proudly, without even moving his feet, just a palm, and completely killed Jin Hao. This style also stunned Gu Yingluo, who had been worried all the time. Brother Mu Yen. Gu Yingluo murmured absent-mindedly, and then came back to her senses, cheering with great joy, great. Brother Mu Yen. Jin Hao's strength is recognized by the younger generation of Jinyu Sect, in her cognition, let alone Mu Yen who could not practice. Even Mu Yen, who was talented before, might not be able to catch up with Jin Hao, but now Jin Hao was killed by Mu Yen's palm. Gu Yingluo was very excited and happy. It turns out that her brother Mu Yen is not a loser. Only the old man holding Jin Hao's body was trembling with anger, his eyes turned blood red because of extreme resentment. He turned around slowly, staring at Mu Yen, his voice was extremely cold. How dare you kill my young master? Not only do I want you to die, but I also want the entire Mu family to be buried with you. As his voice fell, a cold murderous intent instantly enveloped the entire Mu family. The dark clouds in the sky began to cover, and the world seemed to become still. A series of terrifying auras escaped from the old man's body and spread throughout the Mu family. Everyone had the illusion that countless poisonous snakes were crawling all over their bodies. This aura. Could it be? Could it be the nascent soul level? As the great elder at the peak of the golden core stage, he was already the strongest person in the Mu family. However, even he would tremble when he came into contact with this aura. His intuition told him that if the old man only moved his fingers, he would be like an ant crushed by an elephant, dead without a burial place. I'm afraid it's not just an ordinary nascent soul stage. We're done for. Our Mu family is in big trouble. The second elder was so scared that his lips turned pale and his voice was trembling. Just now, they were only shocked by Mu Yan's strength and ignored the huge consequences of killing Jin Hao. Jin Hao is the young master of the Jinyu Sect. His death will definitely cause a huge shock to the Jinyu Sect. At that time, let alone the rewards of the entire Jinyu Sect, just relying on this old man in front of him will be enough to destroy the entire Mu family. The first elder struggled to shout at Mu Yen, you dog, hurry up and die. You caused this disaster yourself, don't let the Mu family get involved. Mu Yen killed the man, it's none of our business. If you want to kill him, kill him. Senior, please don't kill us. It really has nothing to do with us. The second elder also shouted desperately, trying his best to distance himself from Mu Yen. Even Mu Kun pointed at Mu Yen and gave orders with a ferocious look. Mu Yen. Go to your own death. Don't take us with you. Don't be the eternal sinner of the family. These people are eager to see Mu Yen die, and now they are desperate to cut off their relationship with him. Perhaps this is the only way to save their lives. For a while, many people frantically blamed Mu Yen, saying that he should not fight with Jin Hao, let alone kill Jin Hao. If he is killed by Jin Hao, there will be no problem, but if he kills Jin Hao, the problem will be big. This chapter is not finished yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. Listening to everyone's accusations and abuses against him, Mu Yen was unmoved and even wanted to laugh. He has long seen clearly this so-called family. When I see you are of use, I support you. When I see you are useless, I want to kill you. Do they really think that they can save the Mu family by taking the initiative to die? So naive. The moment he killed Jin Hao, the entire Mu family was already on the Jinyu Sect's must-kill list. The old man didn't care about that. He looked up to the sky and cried out sadly. In an instant, a strong wind blew up, and countless thunderbolts swam back and forth in the dark clouds. Faced with this irresistible absolute strength, every herdsman has been completely desperate. Mu Lei gritted his teeth, preparing to drag the old man down with his own life, and then give Mu Yen a chance to escape. This is the only way he can think of. Elder, the rest is up to you. But at this time, Mu Yen looked at Zhang Laosi, who said nothing and said with a smile, Zhang Laosi nodded, and then his body suddenly disappeared on the spot. When he appeared again, he was already in front of the old man. "Stop screaming, okay," Zhang Laosi said impatiently, then casually raised his hand and patted the old man on the head. The old man's eyes were full of anger. Just when he was about to kill the person who suddenly appeared in front of him, he was shocked to find that all the power in his body was tightly restricted, not to mention spiritual power. He can't even blink his eyelids. The old man's eyes instantly changed from the rage just now to panic and unprecedented panic. The person who can instantly immobilize him and make him unable to use even the slightest bit of power is definitely a super master who has surpassed nascent soul. Moreover, he is at least a master in the divine transformation stage, even at the peak of the divine transformation stage. When did such a peerless master appear in a trashy little family like the Mu family? He didn't have any chance to beg for mercy. Zhang Laosi's palm slapped on his Tianling cap. This action was as ordinary and simple as slapping a watermelon, but an ordinary palm completely destroyed the life of a peak nascent soul master. Chapter 16 Return to Kunlun Holy Land. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The old man's limp body fell to the ground like a puddle of mud, and all the power between heaven and earth dissipated. Everyone's eyes were filled with shock and disbelief. A Yuanying-level strongman is definitely a powerful existence in the Mu family, but his death is too sloppy, isn't it? He is Jin Hao's personal bodyguard, and his strength is the 8th level of Yuanying, which belongs to the late Yuanying. Gu Yingluo covered her mouth in shock. As a core disciple of the Jinyu Sect, she knew the strength of this old man too well. He is a guard appointed by the sect master. He can be Jin Hao's servant at ordinary times, and can also be Jin Hao's protector in times of danger. It can be said that his strength is very strong. But in the hands of that stranger, he couldn't even survive a move. Gu Yingluo couldn't help looking at Mu Yan. She knew that this stranger was very close to Mu Yan's brother. Could it be that he was a master he invited back? / just like that, died. / The great elder felt very incredible. As the strongest man in the Mu family, he was like an ant when facing a Yuanying stage boss. The aura that the other party had just burst out made him really think that the Mu family would be bloodbath today. Never expected that the other party would become a corpse just by being lightly patted on the top of the head. All the people in the Mu family looked at Zhang Laosi again, with deep fear in their eyes. So this stranger who didn't say a word was the real master. Could he have reached the god transformation stage? Mu Yan has changed from a waste who couldn't practice to the current super genius, with the powerful strength to kill Jin Hao in seconds. Could it be the masterpiece of this person? The elders were so nervous that they held their breath. What they said just now undoubtedly offended Mu Yan. If they caused the anger of this boss, the Mu family would only die more miserably. Mu Kun and the others were also frightened and silent, wishing they could dig a pit to bury themselves first. Mu Lei finally breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that the crisis was resolved in an instant. Yener, this isn't your master from outside, is it? Mu Lei asked with a smile. His son knows such a great man, he is also proud. Before Mu Yan explained Zhang Laosi's identity, Zhang Laosi said seriously, don't talk nonsense. I am of low status, how can I be compared with the sect master? Compared with the sect master, I am just a drop of water in the ocean. In his heart, the sect master is supreme and inviolable, and his strength is unfathomable. When facing the sect master, it is like facing a complete world, making people deeply feel their powerlessness and insignificance. Mu Yan also smiled and said, this is our sect's outer sect elder, how could my master go out in person for such a small matter? After hearing what they said, Mu Lei and Gu Yingluo were even more surprised. Zhang Laosi is so powerful, isn't he Mu Yan's master? Moreover, he is just an outer sect elder of Kunlun Holy Land. When the powerful Zhang Laosi was mentioned, he trembled, and his tone was full of awe and admiration. Everyone couldn't help but wonder, what level of strength did the sect master reach? Is it the refining void stage? Or the fusion stage? Or the Mahayana stage? Mu Lei and Gu Yingluo were shocked. What kind of opportunity did Mu Yan get outside to worship such a mysterious and powerful person as his teacher? After solving this matter, Mu Yan took Gu Yingluo's hand and said to her firmly, Yingluo, I have been reborn now. You should go back to Kunlun Holy Land with me. Jinyu Sect is not worth your stay there. Yeah. I will listen to Brother Mu Yan. Gu Yingluo nodded without hesitation and agreed happily, for her, as long as she can be with Brother Mu Yan, it doesn't matter where she goes. Jinyu Sect is not suitable for her anymore. Jin Hao is dead, and she will only suffer all kinds of torture if she goes back. It's better to take this opportunity to live together with Brother Mu Yan. Mu Yan brought her to his father Mu Lei and said, Dad, come back to Kunlun Holy Land with me. With my identity, I will definitely have no problem arranging you into the sect. Mu Lei hesitated. He had lived here for decades and had deep feelings for the family, but when he thought that his son had been excluded by the family and wanted him dead, Mu Lei agreed decisively. Alas, there is nothing left for me to miss in the Mu family. Your mother died for the family mission 10 years ago. We don't owe the family a penny. Mu Lei sighed. As for the first and second elders, when Mu Yan looked at them, they trembled and almost peed. Fortunately, Mu Yan did not take their lives for the sake of being a fellow clansman, but only asked Zhang Laosi to destroy the dantian of several people. Now, the first elder, the second elder, Mu Kuan, and the people who had just shouted the loudest have become useless. From today on, you can enjoy the feeling of being useless. Mu Yan glanced at them coldly, then took Mu Lei and Gu Yingluo and followed Zhang Laosi back to Kunlun Holy Land. It's over. It's completely over. The first elder, the second elder, and Mu Kuan looked ashen and collapsed to the ground. Their strong spiritual power was gone at this moment. This was more despairing than killing them directly. They felt that their lives were bleak, and they regretted more that they had not treated Mu Yan better. If they had treated Mu Yan better, he would not have left the family, and then the family would be able to produce a nascent soul or even a god-transforming master in the future. By that time, wouldn't the Mu family be the strongest among all the surrounding families? Moreover, they would not have ended up in a miserable state of becoming a cripple. Unfortunately, it was too late to say anything now, and was there any use in regretting? Mu Yan. Brother. Mu Tingting muttered to herself as she stared at the direction where Mu Yan left, her eyes full of loss and regret. If possible, she wanted to be Mu Yan's brother's follower again, and let Mu Yan's brother's big hand stroke her head, treat her like a real sister and pamper her. Unfortunately, there was once an opportunity in front of her, but she did not cherish it. Regret it until you lose it. Now, she can never be the little girl next to Mu Yan again. Mu Yan and others who left the Mu family had no time to figure out their thoughts, because they had already arrived at the foot of the Kunlun Holy Land. Gu Yingluo and Mu Lei, who had just landed, almost couldn't stand still. Zhang Laosi's speed was too fast. In almost the blink of an eye, he traveled hundreds of miles. What they didn't know was that Zhang Laosi deliberately slowed down. Otherwise, with the cultivation of a true immortal, traveling thousands of miles in an instant would be a piece of cake. Mu Yan smiled at them and said, Dad, Yingluo, welcome to the Kunlun Holy Land. Are you mentally prepared to go up the mountain? After calming down their excitement, Mu Lei and Gu Yingluo were puzzled. Isn't it just going up the mountain to enter the Kunlun Holy Land? Do you still need to be mentally prepared? Do you have to be so prepared? Chapter 17 Mission Progress, Additional Rewards from the Blackmail System. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Soon, several people came to the mountain gate of Kunlun Holy Land. When they saw such a huge mountain gate, they were so surprised that they couldn't close their mouths. Facing this mountain gate, they felt like they were looking up at a mountain. Is this really a mountain gate that a sect would have? Mu Lei couldn't help but exclaimed. He had been doing tasks for the Mu family for most of his life, and he had actually seen very little of the world. Taiwan Novel Network Diamond Suit. Diamond Suit that I have never seen what a real big sect looks like. A mountain gate in Kunlun Holy Land has already made him feel deeply shocked. Gu Yingluo also felt incredible. The mountain gate of Jinyu Sect is not so magnificent. Compared with Kunlun Holy Land, Jinyu Sect is not good enough. In Sangtian realm, Jinyu Sect is already advanced and magnificent enough. Many families dream of sending their descendants to Jinyu Sect for cultivation, but compared with Kunlun Holy Land, Jinyu Sect is just playing house. The scale of this mountain gate plaque alone is enough to kill all the sects in Sangtian realm in seconds. Seeing the shocked expressions on their faces, Mu Yan laughed triumphantly. When he first came to Kunlun Holy Land, his performance was not much better than theirs. Let's go, let's talk about it when we go up the mountain. Mu Yan led them into the mountain gate. The concentration of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth in the area that really entered Kunlun Holy Land immediately increased by at least 10 times. Here, they can even see many natural treasures growing vigorously, and there are many spiritual beasts running and jumping in the forest. It looks like a holy land of immortals. Such a rich spiritual energy, being able to practice here for a day is at least equivalent to practicing hard for a month in the outside world. Mu Lei widened his eyes and looked around in great surprise. It was the first time he saw such a world. If he hadn't come here in person, he couldn't imagine that there was such a holy land for practice in this world. Just by taking a deep breath, he could clearly feel the increase of strength in his body. If he practices and lives here for a long time, even a pig can become a spirit, let alone a human. Gu Yingluo's rosy little mouth could no longer close, and she didn't even blink, greedily taking in all the beautiful scenery. I have practiced in the highest level forbidden area of Jinyu Sect, where there is a spiritual vein buried and several large spiritual gathering arrays are arranged. The concentration of heaven and earth spiritual energy there is about 4 times that of the outside world. You know, it is already the highest level forbidden area for practice. Core disciples like me can only go there once a year. The concentration of spiritual energy here is undoubtedly crushing the highest level forbidden area of Jinyu Sect. Gu Yingluo has seen some of the world and knows the horror of Kunlun Holy Land. This is just the public area of Kunlun Holy Land. If there are other forbidden areas for practice, how terrible would the concentration of spiritual energy be? Mu Yan smiled and said, "This is nothing. You will know when you get inside." "This is nothing," Gu Yingluo screamed in disbelief, and then hurriedly quickened her pace to enter the front hall. After passing the front hall, there is the extremely wide front square, which can accommodate hundreds of thousands of people at the same time. At the same time, the more dense spiritual energy of heaven and earth rushed towards us. It really is. It's amazing. Gu Yingluo was almost speechless. The scale of the palace complex here is really too large, and the concentration of spiritual energy of heaven and earth is terrifying. Let alone being a disciple here, even being a chores disciple sweeping the floor is 100 times better than being the leader of the Jinyu Sect. I feel the air is full of sweet smells. Mu Lei exaggerates to breathe in the air, his face full of intoxication. Seeing his father's crazy look, Mu Yan was helpless. "Dad, you are exaggerating too much, right? Yenner, can I live here in the future?" Mu Lei looked at his son with burning eyes. With such a promising son, he felt that his life was really worth it. A little bit of Mu Yan's light would benefit him for the rest of his life. Gu Yingluo also looked at her sweetheart with expectation, her heart pounding. Mu Yan glanced at Zhang Laosi, wanting to ask for his opinion, but Zhang Laosi remained silent and had no intention of disturbing them at all. In terms of status, Mu Yan, as the master's direct disciple, is countless times higher than him, an outer sect elder. As long as Mu Yan speaks, there is actually no problem with such a small matter. Mu Yan naturally understood this, but he still planned to ask for his master's opinion first, before he contacted his master Ye Chen. Ye Chen's voice had already sounded in his mind. "Disciple, bring your relatives to the main hall to see me." Mu Yan was startled and hurriedly bowed to the void and said, "Yes." Then, he took Gu Yingluo and Mu Lei to the main hall. In the main hall, Ye Chen sat on the supreme throne, and was a little surprised by the system's prompt system. The completion rate of the eldest disciple Mu Yan's mission is 80%. Do you want to receive the reward? Logically speaking, Mu Yan has regained his dignity and has crippled several people. The mission should be completed successfully. Why is it only 80%? Ye Chen didn't quite understand this. He also saw the things in the Mu family clearly. He didn't think Mu Yan did anything wrong. Or is there something else hidden? With only 80% completion rate, he must be dissatisfied, and the reward he got must be very ordinary. Don't receive it yet. Ye Chen chose to refuse. He thought for a while and realized that the troubles of Jinyu Sect had not been solved, which led to the incomplete completion of the task. This chapter is not over yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. If he just went back to sweep the Mu family, there would be no problem, but the problem is that Jin Hao and Gu Luo also appeared. Mu Yen killed Jin Hao and forged a grudge with Jinyu Sect. It is equivalent to an extension of the original task. System, how do you calculate this? Aren't you deliberately increasing the difficulty for my disciples? Do you have a heart? That Ye Chen reprimanded this dog system with dissatisfaction. Wouldn't it be better to just take out the best reward? Why do you have to do these moths? System, host, this system is not a living being, and it has no heart. You dare to talk back, right? Have you forgotten how bad your awakening conditions are? Don't you feel guilty at all? Give me a perfect explanation, and I won't embarrass you. Ye Chen was lying on the throne with a clear conscience, looking like a piece of meat on a rolling knife. After a short silence, the system spoke again. In view of the fact that this system has not considered the details in place, it now compensates the host with 1,000-foot spiritual pool, and comes with 10 spiritual springs. Seeing that there is indeed compensation, Ye Chen smiled with satisfaction. System, you are smart. Arrange them all for me. Ye Chen waved his hand, and the 1,000-foot spiritual pool automatically appeared in the back mountain, and the original back mountain space was automatically expanded a lot. There are 10 spiritual springs bubbling out spring water, not to mention the entire back mountain. The concentration of spiritual energy in the entire Kunlun Holy Land has increased a few points. If such a large spiritual pool and 10 spiritual spring were placed in the outside world, it would definitely make those holy places at the top fight each other. What about the difficulty of the task? Don't you give me an explanation. Ye Chen continued to put pressure on the system carelessly. The system seemed to have been prepared for this. The current 80% progress is equal to the previous 100% progress, and the rewards received are the same. The extra 20% progress reward is equivalent to a bonus, //. That's about right. //. Ye Chen no longer paid attention to the system. At this time, Mu Yen also brought Mu Lei and Gu Luo into the main hall. Chapter 18 Kunlun's Code of Conduct, Recruiting Apprentices with Emperor-Level Qualifications. You are listening at novelfull.audio. / Disciple greets Master. Mu Yen bowed respectfully to Ye Chen on the throne. Mu Lei and Gu Luo looked up curiously and were shocked at first sight. In their eyes, the person sitting on the throne was extremely tall, comparable to the entire universe and starry sky. Behind him was not a hall, but a distant starry sky. His existence was like the birth of a big world. This kind of shock and fear that went deep into the soul was the first time they felt it in their lives. When they looked at it for the second time, all the illusions just now disappeared, and only a boy who looked younger than Mu Yen was seen. This boy had a handsome face, perfect facial features, and an extraordinary temperament. Every move of his was accompanied by the rhyme of Tao. If the world had to select the most handsome person, it would definitely be this boy. Is this Yenner's master? He is really unfathomable. He must be a master who has been hidden from the world. Mu Lei lowered his head deeply, not daring to look at Ye Chen again. Gu Luo was the same. In her heart, the most handsome man was always brother Mu Yen. But after seeing Ye Chen, she understood what the peak of appearance really was. But she didn't dare to have any admiration for the man above. She was only in awe and fear. Disciple, you didn't do a good job on the family trip to the master's heart. Ye Chen said lightly. With just one sentence, Mu Yen felt as if a bucket of ice water had been poured on him, and he was cold from head to toe. It was my negligence. Please punish me, master. Although I didn't know why the master was not satisfied, it was definitely right to kneel down and apologize first. Ye Chen said, you killed the young master of the Jinyu Sect. Did you think that the Jinyu Sect would not take any action? Hearing what the master said, Mu Yen raised his head in confusion, not understanding what the master wanted to express. Although Mu Lei and Gu Luo didn't dare to show any expression, they were already shocked in their hearts. Mu Yan's master actually knew everything that happened in the Mu family. How did he do it? Seeing that Mu Yan didn't understand very well, Ye Chen sighed in his heart. It seemed that this disciple was still a little naive and not smart enough, so, he had to point out, instead of waiting for the Jinyu Sect to come and cause trouble for you, why don't you take the lead and kill the Jinyu Sect? Kill them to the point of fear, who would dare to hate you? Mu Yan, Mu Lei, and Guing Luo were stunned on the spot. Kill the Jinyu Sect? He is a kid in the 4th level of the Jin Dan period, and he will directly kill the Jinyu Sect. Is this possible? Mu Yan never dared to think so. At worst, he would wait until he became stronger before cleaning up the Jinyu Sect. The master's words stunned him. Ye Chen patiently taught, disciple, sitting and waiting to die has never been the purpose of our Kunlun Holy Land. You must remember that no matter what you do, it is not your business alone. When you are outside, you represent the entire Kunlun Holy Land. Do you understand? Ye Chen's words made Mu Yan suddenly enlightened. He understood. I understand. I was too conservative before. If I am given another chance, I will definitely kill Jinyu Sect. Mu Yan's voice was sonorous and powerful, and his mind suddenly became clear. He knew where he was wrong. On the surface, he was a Jindan stage 4 strong man who didn't know how to live or die. There were countless strong men of this realm in Jinyu Sect. But in fact, he represented the face of Kunlun Holy Land, and the master would not watch him being beaten to death. Seeing that Mu Yan had understood the code of conduct of Kunlun Holy Land, Ye Chen nodded with satisfaction. In short, don't lose the face of the sect when you are out there. After the careful teaching of the master, Mu Yan was completely enlightened, and his respect for the master in his heart increased a little more. He really deserves to be the master. His way of thinking is different from that of ordinary people. He is still far behind the master. Mu Lei and Guing Luo were completely stunned when they heard the conversation between the master and the disciple, because in their cognition, the Jinyu Sect is still a behemoth that cannot be provoked. It's too late to hide. Who would take the initiative to deliver themselves to the door? But Mu Yan's master actually asked Mu Yan to kill the Jinyu Sect himself, just to avoid embarrassing the sect. The key is, Mu Yan really listened. What kind of sect is this? However, they also understand that other sects will most likely die if they do this, but the Kunlun Holy Land is mysterious and unpredictable, and they really have this confidence. Mu Yan said loudly, Master, how about I go out now? Ye Chen helplessly held his forehead. There's no need to be so anxious. There will be a genius exchange meeting in Fulong Mountains tomorrow. You and I will go there. The system had given him a task before, which was to accept disciples at the genius exchange meeting in Fulong Mountains. Calculating the time, the genius exchange meeting will officially start tomorrow. Mu Yan was a little confused. Fulong Mountains. He had heard that it was a very far place, not in the Tsangtian realm at all, but in the Luoyue realm. There are still several realms between Luoyue realm and Tsangtian realm. Why did Master suddenly want to go to such a far place? But he didn't ask too many questions. Since Master asked him to follow, he would follow. By the way, Master, this is my father, and this is my fiancé. I want them to live in the sect. Is that possible? Mu Yan asked apprehensively. Ye Chen naturally wouldn't care about such a small matter. Kunlun Holy Land is so big, it's no problem to arrange a few people to come in. This chapter is not finished yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. You are my chief disciple, your status is second only to me, you can decide for yourself. Ye Chen said, seeing that the master let him decide. Mu Yan was so excited that he hurriedly thanked him, and Mu Lei and Guing Luo were also very happy. After explaining these things, Ye Chen looked at Guing Luo. He had already found out Guing Luo's qualifications. Guing Luo, Emperor-level qualifications. Supreme Immortal Body. Unfortunately, her Supreme Immortal Body is currently in an unactivated state. If it is activated, it can soar into the sky, and there is a slight possibility of achieving the position of Immortal Emperor in the future, but the conditions for activation are also very harsh, and it is possible that it will not be activated in a lifetime. Guing Luo, are you willing to worship me as your master? Ye Chen asked with a smile. Guing Luo, who had always been nervous and reserved, did not expect that this big shot would actually talk to her in person. Did she hear it right? He wanted to accept her as a disciple. For Gu Yingluo, it was like a huge treasure mountain smashing down on her head. Her head was buzzing and she was stunned like a log. If Mu Yan had not quietly pulled her clothes with his hands, she would not have believed it was true. Plop. Gu Yingluo knew that she had an unprecedented great opportunity and quickly knelt down and kowtowed in ecstasy. This girl was really honest. After a few bangs, the floor tiles were about to crack. Disciple Gu Yingluo, meet the master. Gu Yingluo said loudly, ding. It was detected that the host received a disciple with Emperor-level qualifications, and the system rewards were being distributed. Chapter 19 Double the reward, go to the Genius Exchange meeting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Reward 2 Immortal Kings summoning cards. Reward a Chaos Realm. Reward a War God Palace. Taiwan Novel Network. Circled M, reward an Emperor-level technique Taishangjian Xianju. Reward a 1,000-foot underground spiritual vein. Reward an Emperor-level sect protection formation Zhoutian Xingqian formation. After successfully accepting a disciple, the system immediately popped up a lot of reward prompts. Ye Chen didn't expect that there would be so many good things. The disciples of the Emperor-level qualifications are different. The rewards are more than those of the disciples of the Immortal-level qualifications, that the Emperor-level qualifications are the highest level, and the Immortal level is lower than the Emperor level. As a congenital top-grade fire spirit root, Mu Yan belongs to the Immortal-level qualifications. Later, Ye Chen helped him to improve and reached the Emperor-level flame spirit saint body. Therefore, the rewards are still given according to the Immortal-level qualifications, but Gu Yingluo is different. She is a genuine Emperor-level qualification and an undeveloped supreme immortal body. Mu Yan, this cheap thing, ah. Not as valuable as his young wife, but when Ye Chen looked at Mu Yan, his eyes were filled with resentment. Mu Yan's heart skipped a beat, wondering why the master looked at him like this. Did he make a mistake again? Yingluo, from today on, you are my second direct disciple, and Mu Yan is your senior brother. Ye Chen said with a smile. He. Senior brother Mu Yan, I will be your junior sister in the future, you must protect and teach me well. Gu Yingluo made a playful face at Mu Yan. Mu Yan was also very happy. The couple worshipped the same master, and no one would interfere with their relationship in the future. Yingluo, this is the skill given to you by the master, it will be good for you. As he said, Ye Chen threw a ball of light into Gu Yingluo's hand. After receiving the ball of light, Gu Yingluo hadn't even looked at it yet, but she sensed that there was an extremely powerful force surging inside. However, this force was very gentle to her, and would not cause her any harm, but rather very close. Mu Yan, who had had this experience once, swallowed his saliva, and seemed to have known what level of martial arts this was. If the master took action, could there be any cheap goods? The ball of light automatically dissipated, and a set of scrolls appeared. On the surface of the scroll was written Taishangjian Xianju, and just looking at these few words, there was an indescribable domineering feeling coming at you. Even the immortals can be suppressed, isn't this powerful enough? The two small words Emperor level marked at the end gave Gu Yingluo a huge shock. She quickly covered her mouth, but even so she couldn't help but let out a cry of surprise, and her watery eyes seemed to be about to pop out. Emperor level martial arts. Am I dreaming? This is an Emperor level martial arts. Gu Yingluo blinked her eyes fiercely several times, and the facts told her that this was an Emperor level martial arts, not an illusion. Huge shock, surprise, and excitement instantly filled her heart. Now she is practicing a king-level technique of the Jinyu Sect. For others, the king-level technique is already very high-end. After all, for a small family like the Mu family, let alone a king-level technique, it is good to have a mysterious level technique. As for the Emperor-level technique, she dared not even think about it. If this Taishangjian Xianju was put outside, it would definitely cause a bloody storm sweeping across the entire Dongxing continent, but the master threw it to her as if it was trash. Thank you, master. Gu Yingluo's voice trembled. Mu Yan next to her smiled proudly and said like showing off, Yingluo. Oh, no, it's junior sister, your senior brother's technique is actually also Emperor level. What? It's also Emperor level. Guing Luo was surprised and happy, and her gratitude to Ye Chen was even deeper. The fate of their young couple was rewritten. As an old father, Mu Lei saw that his son and future daughter-in-law both possessed the Emperor-level skills, and it was impossible for him not to envy them. However, he also knew that he was not a disciple of Kunlun Holy Land, so how could he get the same treatment? For him, being able to live and practice in Kunlun Holy Land was already the best arrangement. Before you practice this skill, I will completely stimulate the potential of your physique, so that your practice will advance by leaps and bounds, Ye Chen said, pointing a finger at Guing Luo, and the invisible force acted on her body. Countless laws of the Great Way were manifested and then poured into her body. With the help of Ye Chen, Guing Luo's supreme immortal body began to be unlocked, and countless white light patterns appeared on her body, and all kinds of meridians were completely opened. The complete supreme immortal body has been formed, and the surrounding heaven and earth aura is like a raging river, rushing into her body crazily. This terrifying practice speed shocked everyone. Even Mu Yen was shocked. Just from the cultivation speed, his flame spirit saint body is not so terrifying. What kind of physique does Ying Luo have? At this time, Guing Luo was surprised to find that she was different from before. Those cultivation problems that troubled her were now completely solved. Moreover, even if she had nothing to practice, the surrounding heaven and earth spiritual energy would enter her body with joy. Even if she stood still, her cultivation speed was faster than when she was practicing hard in the Jinyu Sect before. So this is my true potential. Guing Luo was very surprised. Mu Yen, please take them to their residence. Don't forget to go to the Fulong Mountains tomorrow to attend the Genius Exchange meeting. Ye Chen warned, and then disappeared. This chapter is not finished yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. He appeared under the enlightenment tea tree in the back mountain and began to take stock of the rewards he had just received. 2 Immortal Kings summoning cards. Summon. Ye Chen used it directly. The Immortal King is a super powerful person second only to the Immortal Emperor. If 2 Immortal Kings come to you at once, you can definitely walk sideways in the great world of desolate immortals. Once the 2 Immortal Kings are dispatched, even those holy places that have been passed down for millions or tens of millions of years must be on guard. Otherwise they will definitely be injured. Soon, the void distorted, and 2 figures exuding powerful aura appeared in front of Ye Chen. These are 2 middle-aged men, both at the peak of Immortal King strength. As long as the Immortal Emperor does not appear, the Immortal King at its peak will be invincible. I've met the Sect Master. My name is Black Dragon. Sect Master Qi, I am Bai Long. That the 2 of them bowed their hands respectfully. Okay, let's stay within the sect. Ye Chen nodded and let them leave. The second reward is the Chaos Realm. What is the Realm of Chaos? In fact, it is a small world that is gestating, transforming, and evolving. This kind of world is the most primitive, and the countless laws of the Great Road are also the clearest. Entering the realm of chaos to watch the evolution of the world and comprehend the changes in various laws will be of great benefit to your own practice. Not to mention ordinary people, even the Immortal Emperor longs for such a rare opportunity. Just like last time, when Ye Chen merged with Hongmeng's original body, it caused various terrifying visions in the depths of the starry sky, and countless ways appeared. Many immortal lords, immortal kings, and immortal emperors were alarmed, observing the evolution of its rules and deepening their own spiritual understanding. Many strong people have benefited greatly from it. Materialize. Ye Chen also arranged it. Soon, there was a black hole-like sphere suspended over the Kunlun Holy Land. This is the world of chaos. As long as you enter it, you can understand the evolution of various laws. The third reward is a palace of the God of War. The function of the God of War palace is very simple, that is, people who enter it can fight against themselves, or against various powerful people set up. No matter how injured you are, it will not be brought to reality. Even if you die within the palace of the God of War, you will just exit the palace of the God of War, without any damage to your body. For those disciples who love fighting, the God of War palace is the eternal God. The fourth reward is a 1,000-foot underground spiritual vein. Needless to say, the role of spiritual veins. Wherever there are spiritual veins, monks will gather together and even build sections. And the preciousness of 1,000-foot spiritual vein is even more indescribable. Ye Chen buried this spiritual vein deep into the ground with a wave of his hand, providing spiritual nourishment to Kunlun Holy Land at all times. At this moment, the spiritual energy in Kunlun Holy Land suddenly increased by at least double, and it was still increasing slowly. The last point is the Emperor-level sect protecting formation, the Zhoutian Star Formation. This formation can be used both defensively and offensively. Even if the Immortal Emperor attacks, it will be difficult to break through the Zhoutian Star Formation. Deployment. With a wave of his hand, Ye Chen arranged the formation to cover the entire Kunlun Holy Land. Looking up, he could occasionally see a few stars appearing. As everyone knows, this is the strongest and most dangerous sect protecting formation. Even though there are few people in Kunlun Holy Land, it is absolutely full of security. The next day, Ye Chen transformed into a Taoist body and appeared outside the hall. Today is the day when the Fulong Mountain Range holds a genius exchange meeting, and Ye Chen is still looking forward to it. It would be best to recruit a few more apprentices with Emperor-level qualifications to come back and strengthen the sect. Chapter 20 Disappointed Su Lingyun, there is no genius here. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Mu Yan and Guing Luo had also been waiting for a long time. After seeing the master appear, they all ran over in a hurry. Let's go to the Fulong Mountains in the Falling Moon Realm. Ye Chen waved his hand, and a mysterious force enveloped their bodies. Then he easily tore the void apart, stepped into it with his 2 disciples and disappeared. When they left Kunlun Holy Land, the entire Jinyu Sect was shocked. The death of the young sect master has spread throughout the Jinyu Sect, and both disciples and elders find it unbelievable. In the Zhangtian realm, there are still people who dare to kill the young sect leader. Doesn't the murderer know that killing the young sect leader is tantamount to provoking the entire Jinyu Sect? How many people can bear the anger of a sect? It is said that the sect master has been furious all night, and roars often come from the sect master's hall, shaking the entire Jinyu Sect. If nothing unexpected happens, there will be a huge shock in the outside world. In the main hall of the sect leader, many senior officials of the Jinyu Sect have gathered at this moment. Each of them has an extremely strong aura, with an inexplicable Taoist charm lingering around them. The people with the weakest strength have all reached the middle stage of virtual refining. Sitting on the throne at the top is a middle-aged man exuding astonishing murderous aura. The aura of the peak of his body is surging crazily. He is the sect leader, Jin Ruetian. The death of his son Jin Hao made him extremely sad and angry, and he vowed to kill everyone related to the murderer. My son has a nascent soul-level protector beside him. If ordinary people want to kill him, they must at least be at the peak of the nascent soul, or even at the stage of becoming a god. We can't rule out that the hostile sect is secretly behind it. They want me to get into trouble. Elder Qin, go investigate those hostile sects and see who is the most suspicious. Elderly, you should investigate along the route Hao traveled that day. You must find any clues and don't let anyone go. Sect leader Jin Ruetian roared with grief and anger. He would rather kill 10,000 people by mistake than let one person go. As Jin Ruetian's order was issued, people from the Jinyu Sect also began to take action, led by 2 elders in the void refining stage to find the murderer. The area of Luoyue realm is similar to that of Zhangtian realm. In recent days, the Fulong Mountains have been the busiest, because, today the Luoyue realm genius exchange meeting will be officially held, and many of the most talented people will come here to seek opportunities to enter powerful sects. Several powerful sects in the Luoyue realm are watching. Have you heard? The Qingshu Sword Sect's recruitment quota for this year is 10 people. Maybe we can be chosen. After entering the Qingshu Sword Sect, we are really awesome. I still prefer Haran Pavilion. It is said that Haran Pavilion has the Earth Immortal Ancestor sitting in charge, and it is definitely the most stable. Isn't it good for the Treasure Judgment Heavenly Sect? It is the richest sect in Luoyue realm besides the Holy Land. If you enter, you will enjoy blessings. Discussions like this happen from time to time in the Fulong Mountains, whether it is Haran Pavilion, Jubao Tianzong or Qingshu Sword Sect, they are all very powerful sections. Even if you are an outer disciple, you have accumulated virtues from your ancestors. Sigh, compared with Luoyue Holy Land, I think these sects are still far behind. If you can enter Luoyue Holy Land, you'll only be able to see the smoke coming from your ancestral graves. At this time, someone mentioned Luoyue Holy Land. However, many people around him despised him. Do you really dare to think about Luoyue Holy Land? This is such a dignified holy land. Would you come here to accept disciples? Can you accept a crooked melon like you? The Luoyue Holy Land is a huge and lofty behemoth. It is the inheritance of the Immortal Emperor. Only true super geniuses can enter it. Are we qualified to have wishful thinking, that when several people talked about Luoyue Holy Land, they were full of yearning and reverence? It is the only holy place in the Luoyue realm and one of the top 10 holy places in Dongxing continent. It has been passed down for countless years and is a place that everyone dreams of. However, with the standards of Luoyue Holy Land, there is no need to come to this kind of genius exchange meeting to recruit disciples. Not far away, there were two beautiful women wandering nearby, and they happened to overhear the conversation of these people. One of the girls, who looked to be less than 16 years old, smiled narrowly and said, "Senior sister, they definitely didn't expect that our people from Luoyue Holy Land are here too." That the little girl didn't understand. But what are we doing here? It's just an ordinary genius exchange meeting. What good ideas can there be? That the girl called senior sister is a little older, probably in her 20s. Yao, geniuses can be found everywhere. Don't forget that your senior sister and I were picked up by my master on the way. My background is also very ordinary. As a senior sister, Su Lingyun explained to her junior sister Tao Yao. The little girl Tao Yao nodded in understanding, but what attracted her most was the food, drink and entertainment nearby. There are not many novel gadgets in Luoyue Holy Land. The genius exchange meeting in the Fulong Mountains was in full swing, and Ye Chen also led two disciples to tear apart the space and walk out. The lively atmosphere was overwhelming. So many people. Guing Luo shouted happily. Mu Yan, who was combing his hair, looked around, and came to Ye Chen's side in a humble manner. Master, can I take Ying Luo for a walk first? That Ye Chen rolled his eyes at him and agreed. Go ahead, just don't get lost. Hey, with the master here, how could the disciple get lost? As he said that, Mu Yan took his fiancée's hand and went into the crowd to enjoy their world. This chapter is not over yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. Ye Chen's direction was very clear. Soon after landing, he walked towards the direction with the most people. According to his investigation, the most suitable candidate to be a disciple is there. Moreover, it is an emperor-level qualification. The most important part of the genius exchange meeting is the qualification test. In a wide place, there are several huge stone platforms. 9 stars are engraved on the stone platform. This is the star platform specially used to test qualifications. As long as you put your palm on the star platform, the corresponding star will light up. The more stars, the better the qualification. Generally speaking, at least 5 stars must be lit up before you can be noticed by several sects and accepted as a disciple. Don't look at the countless young people in the Fulong Mountains now, at least hundreds of millions of people, but so far, there are very few people who can really light up 5 stars. Su Lingyun and Tao Yao from the Falling Moon Holy Land were also paying attention to the test results, but the more they looked, the more disappointed they became. Senior sister, the best aptitude currently only has 7 stars, not even 8. Aren't these people too bad? Tao Yao pouted, feeling bored. Those with less than 9 stars are not qualified to be favored by them. Su Lingyun also gradually became disappointed, and couldn't help but sighed. Alas, let's leave after watching for another quarter of an hour. It seems that there is no harvest today. There is no genius here at all. That when the two girls were not interested, Su Lingyun felt something in her heart and suddenly looked in a certain direction. What caught her attention was a young man with a handsome face, an upright posture, and a dragon-like gait. Although this young man was dressed in plain white clothes without any gorgeous decorations, he had a very unique temperament that attracted her all the time. What puzzled her most was that when she first looked at him, she thought she Saw the endless starry sky, deep and vast, / who is this person, / Su Lingyun surprised eyes passed through the chaotic crowd and fell on Ye Chen.